So, you just got a dog, or maybe you've had a dog for a while now and you decided that you want to start training with it, and you're wondering, what type of equipment should I get for my dog? This collar, this lead, that lead, or maybe you just plan on bear wrestling your dog into submission. All of these are technically options. Some are much better than others, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Let's get into it. Let's kick it off with leads. Before talking about the style lead that we do recommend, we're going to talk about a few that we don't real quick. And the first one is retractable leads. Now, outside of a few other things that I don't like about them, my number one thing that I don't like is that, just like that yearly Monopoly game with your family, there's always tension. The only way to circumvent that problem is if you always use the lock on the lead, but at that point you're just left with a really clanky version of a regular good lead. And personally, just in my opinion, I don't like the way retractable leads feel in my hands, and they don't possess enough physical strength to work with a lot of larger dogs out there. The next style lead that I want to go over are bungee style leads, and the reason that we don't recommend those. Now, the reason is when you go to perform a pop, or AKA a physical correction, there's not that defined stopping point where the lead goes taut like there is with leather or nylon. It's right in the name, it's a bungee lead. There's a very big stretch there. So even if a handler is utilizing proper technique, it's going to make it very difficult on them to handle their dog because of that stretch in the lead. I do also want to say there are avenues for these in training, but for most people doing most of the stuff that they're going to be doing in day-to-day life, they do a lot more harm than good. So when it comes to retractable leads and bungee leads, it's best to take the approach you would with those guys selling satellite TV in the middle of Walmart. Stay away. So when looking at leads, you're going to want to stay away from ones that are constructed of really thin nylon with really cheap hardware on them, and you're going to want to find something that's a little bit thicker and more robust and has hardware that's constructed of either brass or steel. And just make sure that it's strong in general and it's going to hold up to everything that you're doing out there with your dog. And all this same stuff applies to leather leads that you may be looking at, or any piece of equipment in general. Now, as far as what leads we do use, we recommend double snap leads. You may also see these referred to as police leads online. There's a lot of great benefits to these types of leads out in the training world when you're working with your dog, and good quality versions of these leads can be had from 4dogtrainers.com, Herm Sprenger, and other places out there. Again, just make sure that wherever you're purchasing from is utilizing good, robust materials and you're spending your money in a good spot. The one that I'm holding right now is from 4dogtrainers.com. It is their iGrip model. They come in 5 and 7 feet. This one is a 7 foot. We've used this lead for years, and I've used it for years, and it's always held up great, and I've just never had any problems with it, and it's a very good basic lead. Okay, so now we're gonna move on to flat collars here, and the ones that we recommend are a belt buckle style, either nylon or leather flat collar. They're usually comparatively very affordable to other collars out there. We've used them for years. They're very robust, and it's hard to mess up just a good basic nylon or leather belt buckle style collar. We want to stay away from cheaper style plastic snap collars. They're just simply not very strong, and we've seen so many of them fail over the years. And if you are going to go with a snap style collar, make sure that it's metal, but not only that, make sure it's a good quality metal and not some type of pop metal that's going to break when some force is applied to it. Another plus that I like about belt buckle style collars is if you're out working with your dog on agility, let's say, and maybe you're about to do something and you have to cinch up that collar real quick, it's very quick and easy to reach down and adjust that to the desired tension, as opposed to some of the other style collars out there. Not that you can't do that, but it just takes a little bit longer with those ones, and a belt buckle one is really easy just to reach down, cinch up, do whatever you're gonna do, and then once it's over, you can reach back down and put it back to its normal tension. Another great piece of equipment that you can pick up for working with your dog is a long line. One that we use all the time can be had at 4dogtrainers.com, or also if you go to your local farm store, you can usually find one there that's listed as a horse lead. They'll oftentimes be longer, but you can cut it to desired length. We typically recommend that when people are starting out that they don't get anything longer than a 15-foot one, just because it's a lot harder for them to manage at first and it can become frustrating. And then usually if they go out and they start using it and it becomes really frustrating, then they stop using it. So we recommend starting off with a 15-foot one, and again, it can be had from 4Dog Trainers, other places online, or just hit up the local farm store. Now, when it comes to training collars, everyone has to decide how they're going to physically correct their dog. Out here, we used a prong collar. We think that if used correctly, it's the best and safest option for you and your dog. And when it comes to what prong collar to get, we use Herm Sprenger. We've used, and that's what we recommend, we've used a lot of them over the years, and we've just found Hermsprenger to be the best. And if you're looking to get one, you can order it from Hermsprenger online, or you can go on Chewy and they sell them on there as well. So if you do decide to use a prong collar, another piece of equipment that we recommend you use is called the doubler. It's just a little piece of paracord and an extra snap that runs from the lead down to the dog's flat collar, and then the main snap of your lead goes to the dog's prong collar. In case that collar were to ever pop off, you are still safely hooked up to the dog's flat collar. So if you are going to use a prong collar, we do recommend that you use a doubler too. Now there sure is a lot of equipment out there, so if you're struggling to pick specifics, feel free to get in contact with us and we'll be happy to guide you in the right direction. And it's also worthy to note, learning how to actually use all this stuff and how to communicate with your dog in a way that they can understand is just as important and more as actually picking what pieces of equipment to use in doing that. That's all we have for you today. Go ahead and give that like button a nice scratch behind the ears, and for more dog-related content, go ahead and subscribe. Have a nice day.